Now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals for the City of Jasper, the sixth day of August 2025. Ms. Duchess, would you please take the roll?
I will. Jerry Miller,
Here.
Julie Duchess, present. Blake Kruger,
Here.
Andy Smith,
Present.
Dennis Tedrow,
Here.
Renee Tabor, here. Josh Gunzelman.
Here.
You.
Thank you. Looks like we have a quorum time. That's great. Now I invite all those who are willing to stand for a voluntary pledge of allegiance.
Flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We are now ready to begin the public hearing scheduled for this evening. With respect to tonight's meeting and public hearings, we are hereby incorporating by reference into the record of tonight's meeting and public hearings, City of Jasper ordinance number 2016-30 entitled Unified Development Ordinance of the City of Jasper, Indiana, and its jurisdictional area and any and all amendments thereto, and the City of Jasper Comprehensive Plan. Pursuant to Article 5, Sections 2, 3, and 4 of the BZA Rules of Procedure, presentations by petitioner shall be limited to 15 minutes. The call for remonstrators shall be limited to 20 minutes, with individuals limited to no more than 5 minutes at the chairman's discretion. Such time limits may be increased by the majority vote of the board members present. With that, we got a busy night tonight. I think we have 6 items on the docket tonight as far as new business. But before we get to that, I guess we first need to have approval of the board minutes from July. So I think everyone has received the board minutes from July. I think a motion to approve or change the board minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Julie,
I'll second.
second by Andy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And with that, we'll move on to the 6 new business public hearing items for tonight. First on the docket is Vine Street Lofts LLC as owner and Paul Properties LLC as petitioner, located at 1316 Vine Street, Jasper, Indiana. They have 5 variances, with the first variance from 16.04.08C, aka Chapter 4 Districts R4, higher density residential district standards allowance of the City of Jasper's unit UDO to allow a reduction of the front yard setback. First variance. Second variance is to allow a reduction of the side yard setback. Third variance is to allow a reduction of the rear yard setback. Fourth variance request is to allow a reduction of the building separation. And the fifth variance from 16.04.17.D.15, aka Chapter 4 Districts lot standards to allow more than one primary structure on a lot. With that, I will invite you, please state your name and go from there.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ethan Hof. I'm a Trimark Surveying, presenting on behalf of Vine Street Lofts and Poff Properties LLC. Tonight, we're going to talk about a project that Poff Properties wants to develop here on the east side, southeast side of town. Borders 14th Street on the north side, 13th Street on the south side, Vine Street on the west, and Leopold Street on the east. And what they're looking to develop is Lot 2 of Vine Street Lofts subdivision, which is what's highlighted right there. Currently, this tract is actually zoned I2. We're pending a rezone approval at the Jasper Plan Commission. That's coming up after this. So what we're looking for is variances from the R4 standards, what we're trying to rezone it to, in order for them to do the proposed development on this site. I'll scroll down a couple sheets. So right here, as you can see, is kind of what they're interested in doing out here on this lot. What they're wanting to do is subdivide this tract into 3 new lots and construct 10 buildings within this area, with multiple buildings on each one of the lots. Basically, they're wanting to utilize the train as much as they can and provide adequate ingress and egress to all the parking lots. If you're not too familiar with the site, it actually has like 30 feet of fall from Leopold Street all the way down to Vine Street, which is quite a significant amount. And so with the way that the terrain is now, it'd be hard to have any kind of additional access onto Leopold Street on the east side just because of the terrain difficulties that are out there. So this seems to be a very useful use for the lot as it exists, utilizing the terrain as best we can, minimizing any indirect runoff to the neighbors that you don't want to do. So you want to be able to control everything. That's what they're doing. So with that, we were wanting to do a reduction of the front yard setback along 13th Street, Vine Street, and Leopold Street. Currently, the R4 standards would require a 40-foot setback. We want to reduce that down to 10 feet. We want to reduce the side yard setback from 40 feet down to 10 feet. A reduction of the rear yard setback from 25 feet to 10 feet. And a reduction of the building separation from 25 feet to 12 feet from window to window, as well as a variance to allow multiple primary structures on each individual lot. As you can see with the current configuration, the building separation will be just between the buildings that they are proposing out here right now. If you look across the street, those houses are fairly close together as well, a lot of them being 14 or 15 feet apart the way it is. We're still going to maintain well over that 25-foot separation to the adjoining building on lot 1, being the Vine Street Loft building down there on the west side, west block there. And the reduction of all the setbacks from both the front yard, side yard, and the rear yard just gives us a buildable area out here on the lot. Because by the time you go 40 feet from the front, 40 feet from the side, and then 25 feet from the rear, and having as the multiple street frontages that are out there, you reduce that lot to almost nothing. You don't have a whole lot of buildable area left. So giving us that reduction in building setbacks allows us to configure the buildings in a more desirable manner to accommodate the train, runoff, and access onto the site.
Well, what's the building split, like units, sizes?
So-
duplex, fourplex?
Right now, they're looking at fourplexes, is what they're wanting to do. They're thinking 2-story buildings. It's kind of fluid a little bit right now. They're trying to figure out a good floor plan that works out there, but the first step is to go through this process itself. They have a couple design ideas that they're kind of looking at, a lot of which they're kind of mimicking off of what was done at the library site. Something kind of similar to that, but they're wanting to build something that blends in with the community real well and looks good, and would be a great use to the site.
And Ethan, maybe lay the groundwork for our confirm if this is still true based on our pre-conference meetings or whatever. Our ops is under contract to purchase these. This is in a way broad strokes of what they're trying to do. And the square footage of rooms and stuff like that haven't been attained yet.
Correct.
And if any additional variances are required to, they would come back after the fact. These are just make sure that he can do what he hopes to do in broad strokes before he closes on the property. Is that correct still?
Yes, absolutely.
I think if my counting is right, you're estimating about 2 parking spots per apartment
Per unit, yes.
per unit.
Yeah, or I think is the current ordinance now a space and a half per unit?
That's correct. And
Yeah.
they have 2 per, and for code would be 1.5 per. So they're actually over what we require.
And then, I'll ask you this on setbacks. If going to think the planning commission had, but there are 2 requests to the R4, is that similar to what R4 setbacks are or close?
Yeah, so really, if you look at what, and of course, all of this is I2 currently, but if you kind of look at what the neighborhood to the east and the south has been, we've seen a history of converting I2 spaces into residential spaces. Currently, as it exists on the Vine Street lofts right there on the west, actually owns the parcels we're talking about now. And of course, they're a multifamily unit, but they remain zoned as I2. So the thought is because R4 is the most similar residential district that we would just read, it made sense to rezone it appropriately as R4 for the whole block. And then, so our standards currently for R4, are why you're seeing, and all these variances would be contingent upon the planning commission approving the rezone to R4. That's why you're seeing some of these variances. Across the street and to the north and to the east is actually R3. And so when you really start comparing, you know, what they're asking for versus what R3 is across the street, they're very similar in scope of what the ask is. It's not too far out of line.
Did you say that they would not be able to enter off of Leopold?
There will be a couple access points. If you actually look, so building 8, which is the third one up from the south end, that's kind of where the peak of the hill is there along Leopold. And from that peak there to even the intersection down there on 13th Street is like a 11 or 12-foot drop. Going all the way to the north, it's more like 16 to 18, something along those lines. And so what you end up doing is those buildings will actually sit a little bit or quite a bit lower than the peak of Leopold, but you'll have access then primarily off of 13th Street and then another access point there on the northern end of Leopold for that southern lot. And then the two northern lots, the northwest one has 2 buildings on it, the northeast one has 3 buildings on it, but those will have easier access essentially to them based upon the train.
They will have at 13th Street, they'll be able to get in
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah, first question I had, Ethan, was units per building, and then Julie just touched on the next question that I had in my mind too. So if you're coming in for preliminary plat tonight, you've obviously done some engineering work on this by now. Have you got an idea on finished grade, where you're gonna be at here on all these things? Are you?
Yeah.
Retaining walls?
Yeah, we think there will have to be one retaining wall along Leopold. It won't be the entire stretch through there. We're gonna try to reduce it as much as we can, just because from a safety standpoint, more than anything, trying to minimize a real tall retaining wall along there. But you know, we haven't dove real deep into the design on it yet, but we know that we can balance the site. We can use the dirt that's there. We can make a nice layout for the site that looks good and will function well. If you know, you won't have this steep grade where a driveway's dropping straight off the road, or it's gonna be hard to get out whenever it's snowing or things like that.
And with those retaining wall setbacks, a little less of an issue there. Okay, there. What about any type of traffic safety device along the west side of Leopold where you would have that retaining wall? Are you looking at a curb? Are you looking at?
Well, currently there's a curb along the road, if I'm not mistaken, so that'll be your safety device, along with probably do some landscaping up there to make sure, you know, deter pedestrians from ever trying to cross over that. Whatever the case, we'll make sure that they follow code, whatever international code and residential building code is for that.
It seemed like a lot of variances. I mean, I was surprised to hear how much you squeezed in
Yeah,
to the area. Is that so that the apartments or the housing can be of a good size?
well, between that and you think about just, well, you know, whenever you talk about these multi-family dwellings, not only do you have the dwelling itself, which has to abide by the setbacks, but then you also have the parking lots that are associated with that. And so you have to squeeze all of that on the lot itself. And that's why to get that ideal configuration on there, we needed to have those reductions in setbacks.
And Julie, I would point out that the building that is most adjacent to has no setbacks, and it runs the 2/3 and 3/4 of the length of the block as a single building. The Vine Street
Current
law.
building, yeah. I just.
And truth be told, like whenever you look at adjoining buildings there, like even on the east side of Leopold, you know, their setbacks are about 12 to 13 feet off of the right of way off the curb as well. We're not too far from it, even on building number 4 up there, the far northeast corner. It's gonna be about the same setback as the buildings there on the east side of Leopold. Same thing, whenever you come off of 14th Street, we're actually set back a little bit off of 14th Street compared to adjacent blocks. But then, you know, just within our block itself, you look at the Vine Street Loft building and that's set at basically the right of way line. So we're for the most part, we're matching all the setbacks that are already existing around the block.
Okay, with that, we're gonna move on and see if anybody from the public would like to make any comments on this. If so, please come forward and state your name. And your address, please.
My name is Daniel Opal. I live in 1309 Green Street. This many variances in 10 feet is not a lot. They're trying to cram so much in such a small space that the people aren't even gonna have a place to really enjoy. There's no green areas really. There's no little park, nothing. And it's gonna add so much more traffic that on 13th and Vine, you can't see anyhow because of the factory there. And you're gonna have even more people drive around there. I've almost hit people 20, 30 times trying to leave. Because there's not a stop sign there. They just keep going.
Yeah, it'll be definitely an increase in traffic in that area, that's for certain. So, I know that our commissions meet and I know they already talked to the traffic safety directors there and they didn't come up with any issues at all in that situation. So I think we'll be okay from, our local people that looked at it. Street commissioner and stuff have reviewed the project, potential project.
We have not had a tag or
You
anything
not had
like
that,
that yet. And they have not gone through the planning process at this point in time. But we'll definitely do that.
They always meet before they give a final approval on the setup in the apartment buildings, the TAC will meet and definitely, will give us anything if there's any concerns at all on that, so.
Daniel, where did you say that you live at?
1309 Green Street.
On Green Street?
Yeah.
I was just there in that area earlier today and I did notice, a lot of the elevation. And then also when they were talking about all of the setbacks, the one thing in my mind too was about green space, because I do like the idea of our city having green space.
Yeah.
And so I was very much considering that before you even came up here, and I'm looking on the map right now, and I think you're pretty close to the park that's off of Mill and 9, as well as the Riverwalk. So I know this may seem like a bit of a loss as far as green spaces in your area. I think we're still pretty close as far as accessibility to green spaces.
Yeah, 10 feet isn't a lot. I mean, they're wanting to push this really pretty well to the street. And it's not. Why have all of these ordinances when you get all these variances and change it all? We're trying to kind of have a uniformity here.
Right. But most of these variances, if you look in the area, are pretty much uniform, you're talking 13 feet, 14 feet. And then you're asking for 10, and on one side, right, it's up to the road, so they're actually pushing back on the one side farther than they are on the other side of the block, so.
Can you correct me if I'm wrong? The only buildings are the actual blue space. Anything else that's not parking lot or blue space is still gonna be a green space that people can walk in on the grass and use as a walkthrough.
Assuming it's grass.
It's
Correct. I mean, yes, current state. Where you see the green on that map is currently grass. That would be a question for the developer, but I assume that would be grass. Currently, as you see on the north, on the southeast, all of that is just current rock lot / blacktop lot.
Because I agree with what you're saying as far as 13th and Vine being an extremely close section, as you don't have a whole lot of vision whenever you come to that stop. But I do think that since the buildings are only gonna be in the blue area, there's still gonna be ample line of sight for people that are pulling through there. So it's not gonna be as tight as it is on the section down here at Vine.
But if a lot of them leave down Vine and go to 13th, there's gonna be a lot more there.
And if we saw an increase in traffic, we could just either put a stop sign or reevaluate or.
Right. And we'll look at site plans and stuff as well, when the final layout comes out, to make sure that part will stay within ordinance, so.
It's been a while, so I apologize if I misspeak, because this has been trying to get everything in order for this project for quite some time, as the developer will attest. I believe we had an initial tag, not a secondary, but I believe we've met once at least for this project.
Appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
The other thing that I would say is that, we're working really hard to encourage infill,
Yes.
and that's exactly what this is. And often when you have infill like this in, older areas in town, it just necessitates a number of variances that we wouldn't ordinarily see.
And a big push for the infill, for certain. I know we've had lots of studies, and the IU study, right? If I remember correctly, so. Yes, so this definitely fits into what we're trying to accomplish as the city of Enfield. So. Anyone else in the public like to comment? Okay. I'll take a motion to close the public comments. Section.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Dennis,
I'll second that.
second by Jerry. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I know you've had an opportunity to ask questions, and if there's any more questions. Developers up here, not, I would, you got a question?
Quick one, yeah, regarding as far as the buildings being in the blue square, do you have current plans, or do you know what the current plans are for any of what's currently, I assumed would be grassy areas?
Yeah, for the most part, unless it's pink or blue on there, it's gonna be grass. We do have to watch the slope. You can see the riprap right now on the west side of the blue buildings, between the existing Vine Street Lost building and what's blue there. There is a steep slope again. Once again, we're talking about, 15, 20 feet of elevation difference. You gotta do something. And, just a grass yard in through there isn't real good. So you do have to do something there, and it's probably gonna stay riprap the way it is. And I guess the only comment I'd really make about, the green space, we do try to incorporate as much green space as we possibly can in here. We'll probably have some more landscaping and different things inside of there, once we narrow down the plan itself. But, the alternative, like right now, if you're in an industrial zone, right? So that could all end up being parking lot right now anyways. And same thing with traffic. If it ends up being an industrial site, you could get a lot of employee traffic all at one time and through there as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Jerry, go ahead.
Ethan, I'm betting I'll find out pretty soon, but I don't see any kind of detention facility there. Have you worked on stormwater and how you're gonna?
We have not yet, but we have considered it. It'll probably have to be an underground system. We have not determined the size or the outlet point or anything like that yet. We haven't done that analysis.
And again, Jared, just to put the board's mind and maybe the audience's mind at ease. Again, this is broad strokes on the overall layout before they can close on the property, and then really kind of get into the weeds on that. If anything would be discovered in which there has to be a variance, then they would have to come back to this board. There would be public notice, there'd be a public hearing, et cetera. Along.
With that, then I think we're all good at this way, and I will entertain motions to on the variance request.
Do you want it all five?
One at a time. I'd like to make a motion to grant variance as presented from section 16.04.18C, chapter 4, districts R4, district standards of the city of Jasper Unified Development Ordinance to allow a reduction of front yard setback.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Dennis. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Also make a motion to grant variance as presented to allow a reduction of the side yard setback.
Motion by Jerry to allow a reduction in side yard setback,
I'll second.
second by Andy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion number 3.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve the variance as presented to allow a reduction in the rear yard setback.
Motion by Jared to allow a reduction in the rear yard setback,
Second.
second by Andy. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
I would like to make a motion to approve the variance as presented to allow a reduction of building separation.
Motion by Jerry to allow a reduction in building separation,
Second.
second by Andy. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried.
And number 5, I'll make the motion to grant the variance as presented from the 16.04.17.d.15, chapter 4, districts lot standards to allow more than one primary structure on the lot.
Motion by Dennis to allow more than one primary structure on a lot,
I'll second.
second by Andy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That was Jerry who made that motion. Sorry.
Just a point of order, if I can, board, I didn't
Yes.
want to interrupt as you're going. All of these, would and should be contingent upon rezone from, I two to six.
Correct.
I two, yes, so.
Yes. So, based on that rezone, based on the information presented to this Board of Zoning Appeals, we have determined that all the following three criteria to be true. The development standard variance requested will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. That the use and value of the area adjacent to the property will, included in the variance, will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner. And the strict application of the terms of the Jasper zoning and subdivision ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property for which the variance is sought. Thus, the City of Jasper Board of Zoning Appeals grants your variance as requested.
Alright, thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the second thing today is Carr and Sons Constructions as owner and petitioner located at East State Road 164, Jasper, Indiana, 47546, southeast corner of State Road 164 and Meridian Road. They are requesting a variance. Okay.
You skip one. Andy, you make it right now.
Oh, there's one at the bottom. I gave him.
Yeah, that's a, yeah, there was a change order on the other one, so if you could take up the electric one.
The election, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, that makes-
Sorry, that's something we're gonna do it at home.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah. That order, okay, let's try that in a different order. Andy and Megan Lettner as owner and petitioner located at 402 North Klimper Road, Jasper, Indiana, requesting two variances. First variance requested from chapter 7, section 7.10, accessory uses and structures, subsection A, to allow an accessory structure not subordinate in area in height to the primary structure. And the second variance requested from chapter 7, section 7.10, accessory uses and structures compatible in style and materials of the principal use or structure of the city's UDO regarding an accessory structure. With that, I am going to assume, Mr. Eckerly, you're going to present on their behalf. If so, please state your name and who you're with.
Good evening, Board. Brad Eckerly, Grossman Lance from Megan Engineering, here on behalf of Andy and Megan Legner. Megan and Andy are with us this evening. This site is located just southwest of Precious Blood on Climper Road. Cool. Go like to the third one. Yeah. So you'll see the yellow area. The Legner, Andy and Megan acquired this 2024. It was originally Andy's grandfather's, so part of the Legner farm. But the residence here has been there constructed in 1950s. Specific to the variances you see tonight is an accessory structure. It was constructed in 1970s. So here on the east side, slide 15. Sorry, the picture from the street. So just a quick reference, being on the, like I said, west side, being on the east side of Klemper Road, the Legners have done some modifications, cleared some trees close to the home. So this is what you see here. So you can see the red brick primary structure. Specific to the area for that, we're near 840 square feet for that. And then to the left there, you can see the white. That is the subject accessory structure. So there is an existing accessory structure, and this is part of a modification and addition to that structure. So go back real quick. So we are in an R1 zone. And with that area on the left side of the page, R1 yellow, we're surrounded fully by the R1. And so here's a quick exhibit to kind of give you reference. The magenta, pink, or we want to call purple, would be the addition. So the bottom blue there would be the existing primary residence. The middle blue that's kind of overlaid is the existing accessory, and then there is a secondary accessory structure shed that you see there northeast. So when discussion started, the proposed addition did extend further west than the front of the primary. So, Andy, did modify, to ensure that the accessory structure did not exceed, west of the primary. The theoretical, this is meets and bounds track, the theoretical front setback and right of way. Both would conform to that, so it would conform to the front setback required for R1. And kind of the next, you can see, and with that picture, there is woods to the north, part of a family farm that was part of that, but not owned by Andy and Megan. So here's a quick area breakdown, just for your reference as we talk subordination of the area and heights. So basically, the building itself, for the detached, 1840 is the house. The detached existing is just over 1,100 square feet on the building itself. And then the new building or the modified building with addition would be around, just over 2,500 square feet. So the breakdowns that I just fired off do not add up to the total area due to existing lean-tos and proposed lean-tos. So it's a mixed bag of the modifications to it, utilizing that existing structure. And that's specific on the area. The height, being the ranch, style there, the existing principal is 16 feet. And the existing accessory is about 11.5. So the proposed accessory is 21 feet 2 inches, which is less than the development standards for accessory structure. However, it would not be subordinate to our primary structure for that. So here's some depictions of what we have. Is just a quick note. I think those dimensions shown were prior to us modifying to get that back of the front. So you can see to your right there, the top right, that would be the existing accessory. So the larger addition comes westerly toward Klemper Road. And then you have a large lean-to that would be on the west side. And then also one at the replacing, modifying the one at the southeast. And talking setbacks and the footprint that you see, that is inclusive of the lean-to. So the lean-to is not extending further than the primary structure. That's inclusive of the lean-to. So I think next one's a rendering. That's just a closer kind of talking through just to kind of give you reference for the magenta in that regard. Some elevation views, the top one looking north and the bottom one from the north looking south. Then go ahead and next one. And then you see on the top there, you see the block, that's the existing wall that's there on the east side. And then you can see proposed, and we're seeing that rendering here in regard to the bottom one would be your view from Klemper Road. And next, so there you go. So to your left would be Klemper Road. And basically utilizing with the brick from the house, utilizing that same for the bottom masonry ledge that you see in that picture there. So with the improvements, I had referenced this on a 1.8 acre tract and with the timing of that, basically the need the need for the variance was really driven from the fact that the variances sought are specific to the height area and materials compared to that existing 1958 primary structure. And we had the 1970s accessory that was constructed. So for the 1.8 acre and with the surrounding woods to the northeast, feel like this is compatible in the area. And with the proposed material, although not directly matching the brick of the house, have a material type for the accessory that will look nice for that. So, and it's specific to the public health. There's no impacts to public right of way, site distance, and keeping it on the private property. So, would that entertain any questions?
picture that there's gonna be like rain coating that bottom is definitely.
Yeah, part of that, they'll be using the existing masonry that is on the accessory structure that's there today. So it's like a modification based on the size of the piping.
And I think you explained that the compatibility was the house is a different style.
So, yeah, with the area, obviously that's in, but then the compatibility with material, basically just being the red brick that the houses are not using a direct use, so thus then that entertains the material compatibility. And then the height, basically we'd be 5.5 feet taller than the ridge line on the house.
But it'll blend into the loop as long as the loop is there.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone from the public like to comment on this? Don't see anyone. No letters. No letters, anything good? That's all right. With that, I'll take a motion to close the public comment.
I'll make a motion to close public.
Motion by Dennis. Second by Andy. All's in favor? Aye. Okay. Public's closed, okay. With that. I think I don't see how many issues that whatsoever either. I think that the house, like you said, the 1958 house, materials and all that, they're doing the best they can in that situation. Older structure, the whole 9 yards still using the older structure, so. With that being said, I will entertain the motion for the variances.
I'll make a motion to grant a variance from chapter 7, section 710, subsection A to allow an accessory structure not subordinate in area and height to the primary structure at 402 North Klemper Road in Jasper.
Motion by Dennis to allow a accessory structure not subordinate in area and height to the primary structure as presented.
Yes, as presented.
As presented.
Second.
Second by Julie, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Great. All right, I will entertain a motion for the second variance.
I'll make a motion to grant as presented variance from chapter 7, section 710, the city's unified development ordinance regarding an accessory structure at 402 North Klemper Road in Jasper.
A motion by Dennis to allow the variance from chapter 7, section 10, accessory use and structure, compatible use with the principal use or structure of the city's UDO ordinance regarding an accessory structure as presented. Motion by Dennis.
Second.
Second by Julie. All those in favor? All those opposed? Great. Motion carried. With that, based on the information presented to this Board of Zoning Appeals, we have determined that all the following three criteria to be true. The development standard variance requested will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. That the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. And the strict application of the terms of the Jasper zoning and subdivision ordinance will result in practical difficulties in use of the property for which the variance is sought. Thus, the Board of Zoning Appeals grants your variances requested.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. Okay. Now we'll move on and try this car and Sons, and this time I'm a little excited. I had an old sheet, so. All right, Car and Sons Construction is owners and petitioner located at East State Road, 164, Jasper, Indiana, 47546, southeast corner of State Road 164 and Meridian Road. It is requesting a variance from 16.04.05 A, aka Chapter 4 districts, R1 low density residential, permitted uses of the city of Jasper's UDO to allow a two-family dwelling, a duplex in an R1 zone. With that, please state your name and address and may begin.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jocelyn Carr, with Carr and Sons. And we have purchased this lot about maybe 2 years ago. It is an R1 zone. The main thought behind that was to go ahead and maybe build a spec home or advertise, for someone to go ahead and build their dream home. We have had no luck, as you can see. So our next point would be to go ahead and convert it into a two-family dwelling, like a duplex. Setbacks shouldn't be a problem. The lot is big enough, to be able to comply with all the setbacks as well. And then that's like the proposed or preliminary plans on what we're thinking.
And you might show it in aerial.
Yeah.
Passed it. Oh, great.
So look at your picture of the driveway coming in on, so the south side.
No, is that the same? I don't know.
This
It
one.
should be the same. It's where the rock is, where the gravel. That's probably the way that I took the picture,
Gotcha.
but it's the same way the gravel is now.
Yeah.
Far as parking in the garages and the driveway. Should be enough to accommodate 5 vehicles.
Absolutely, yeah. Those are 2 parking spaces, or 2-car garage.
Those are 2 cars, yeah, okay, 2 cars, so yeah, then parking spaces shouldn't be
It shouldn't be a problem.
concern.
And I think it'll comply with the needs of the city as well, as far as renting and, you know, goes.
Since you're only asking for one variance, you do plan to build the rest of your plans to fall within all the other ordinances and everything else?
Yeah, everything setbacks shouldn't be a problem or anything. Everything complies with everything else, so. It's just the R1 zone is the issue.
Should be any side variance or anything, or side issue, anything like that, so.
So you know the orientation on the lot, like which way, like the front will face and how it'll sit.
Where you see, can you do where the driveway, comes in, practically would be just, having the parking space or the garages in the middle and then splitting on both sides.
Okay,
So it wouldn't be facing the road on 164.
So it's not on this one.
No, it's going, yeah.
Okay.
So I think we sent out, after staff review, a note, or and if not, I'll just bring it up now. There is a requirement that there's no curb cuts for, within 150 feet of an intersection of a collector street, which certainly highway ones or state road 164 would be a collector street. So our ask is that you can move the driveway as far south as possible, to at least meet the 150, from the intersection.
150.
And we kind of calculated, you can kind of see where the stop bar is for traffic currently.
Are you, sorry, are you counting it from, because I think the law is like 0.80, okay.
Yeah, so if you kind of draw what would be a corner, it's kind of clipped,
Yeah,
it kind of comes about right there. That's where you would start your 150 feet back.
150 back.
Yeah. So the existing would be what we would consider non-conforming, so we wouldn't want you to use the existing because it's too close to the.
Too close to it,
intersection.
okay.
You see that as an issue?
I don't think so. Should be plenty of space.
Is that line?
Sorry.
How long is that line? Running jet on the meridian? Just think 100 feet, where do you put it at now?
From that stop bar to the bottom.
Sometimes he puts it on there.
Be about 40 feet from the bottom.
So from,
Yeah, there's the corner, and about 190.
You back it up to 150. So about there's where the entrance would have to be at. If that's the issue, if you come back forward with another variance.
would it be necessary if I reduce and just do, the parking or remove the garage and maybe do like an overhang on the side? Is that gonna be an issue? More like a carport,
Yeah, it's not the garage that's causing the problem.
It's
It's
that,
the entrance.
the entrance to the,
Too close to the intersection.
has to be back 150 feet.
They're saying that the location of the building's not the problem at all, just because you're right there at that intersection, they want, just so there's no accidents, anybody turning off to there and
Yeah.
everything. They want it down at least 150 feet.
Instead of having it closer to the north side of your building.
I don't think necessarily it doesn't have to be in a straight entrance to the garage. It can be something going straight or doing a curve or something like that. Okay.
Come in and then drive it back up and then have it
Yeah.
right there.
Cause it would be a two-car garage. I don't think there's gonna be on top of each other. Shouldn't be an issue doing it that way.
I think your garage layout is not, so.
Yeah.
We would change
Yeah,
that.
I got it. Anyone?
That makes sense, or do you understand?
Yes, got it.
Anyone from the public like to come up and make comments on this? Okay, not seeing anyone. With that being said, I would make a motion to close the public comments section. Motion to close. Motion by Andy, second by Jerry, all those in favor? Okay. Think you're good, as long as you have that 150 feet, that's gonna be the big key to this whole deal, from what I gathered from up here, so that's gonna be the
Appreciate
hard
it.
part. With that being said, we need to have a motion to allow or deny the variance.
Make a motion to grant the variance from 160405 A, aka chapter 4 districts R1 permitted uses of the city of Jasper's Unified Development Ordinance to allow a two-family dwelling duplex in an R1 zone as presented, located at East State Road 164, Jasper, Indiana.
Motion by Dennis to allow the variance, second by Andy, all those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One, two.
Yes, yes, as presented, that's right. Based on the information presented to this Board of Zoning Appeals, we have determined that the following three criteria to be true. Development standard variance requested will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. That the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner. And the third is the strict application of the terms of the Jasper's zoning and subdivision ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property for which the variance is sought. Thus, the Board of Zoning Appeals grants the variance requested. Okay, item number 4 on the docket. Mariner LLC as owner and Nadine Durr, is that correct? As petitioner located at 402 Marilla Street, Jasper, Indiana. Variance from 16.04.14.a, aka Chapter 4 Districts 12 I2 Heavy Industrial, permitted uses of the city of Jasper's UDO to allow a bakery / restaurant in an I2 zone. With that, please state your name and you may begin.
Good evening, my name is Nadine Dewey, and I'm here to request a variance for a small bakery, Caribbean Test Pastry Bakery. That's zone, it's for industrial zone, so we want to see if we can get that as a rental for a small bakery. This is the building. Of course, it's
The end of the current.
yeah, I get some. The main entrance,
Right.
of course, from it, it's the parking lot of the new library, Jasper Library. So it's a small family friendly environment. I think it's gonna be very nice for the area. It's the Caribbean Test Pastry is a puff pastry base with filling with some meat and different kind of meat and salty fish. It's gonna be like a low traffic, it's not, it's a small, like people will call and pick up, we will have like a small area for a waiting area for pickup. It's not gonna be any,
So it's basically
No,
pickup,
it's-
it's not a, come pick it out of the window, it's a, you call ahead and pick up.
yeah, we
Okay.
can call it and order and come and pick up, we can we welcome to walk in and grab it, we will have some juice inside.
Okay.
We plan to open from 7 to 5, 4 days a week, to start. It may be increased as needed. It's, as I said, it's a family, run small business. We plan on having like 5 employees. It's something different. We intend to bring to the community, to Jasper. And so it's been while we move here, we just went some small business ID in the area.
You said 7 to 5, is that 5 days a week?
It's 4 days. We will start on a Friday and the weekend and Monday. And as I said, it can be expanded as needed, but that's what we intend to start with.
I'm sorry, how many employees did you say?
For now, we're thinking about 4 or 5.
The only thing that I'm wondering about is just the parking. Or can you go back to the top down view? Is there a city lot right down at the end of that street that the parking is open to public?
Just ask the end.
Yeah.
You gotta track.
All the way to.
It's things like parking with the, yeah.
It's parking. It's cultural center.
Cultural center, is there parking in the entire lot? Oh, all right, then, never mind, I don't have a concern about parking.
And there exists travel through the street view right now, there's any parking on the building, so.
Yeah.
Parking,
So, I'm good. Who else?
And the reason we had it was because of the word restaurant.
Right.
Versus.
Bakery slash restaurant, yeah.
In the book, it said bakery slash catered. Was okay.
Right. Yes, I think it would, I don't.
That's the reason we have it.
Yeah. Cam, have you worked with the DuBois County Health Department already? Like.
I contact them, I have, my requirement, I will work with them. Mostly my food safety certificate that, I work on that with them, but, it's, the building, it's not equipped for, a restaurant or bakery yet, so I have a lot to get through it. So I will keep on in touch with them and get all the requirements to get it in the level they request to make it functional. So I'm thinking about probably end of the year to get everything together. So I'm on my first step right now.
Sure. Any questions? Anyone from the public like to comment? So please come forward, no one. Okay, with that being said, take a motion to close the public comment.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Andy,
Second that.
second by Julie to close. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And Julie, just to finish your question or answer it wholly, so that's I2 is the current zone and a retail bakery is not currently a permitted use in I2. That's why she's here.
Was it a special exception? That what it was? Oh,
Now, in the matrix, it offers for a retail bakery, a wholesale bakery, a bakery slash catering wholesale, all of which is allowed in I-1. But in bakery retail, I think that's kind of where we thought it was, retail bakery, was not permitted per se in I-2.
Anything else? Okay, I entertain a motion. That's it.
Bingo.
I think it would be a good addition for us to have that bakery down there. Great, so I'd like to make the motion, we grant the variance as presented from 16.04.14A, chapter 4, districts 12, that the industrial permitted uses. The city of Jasper Unified Development Ordinance to allow a baker's restaurant in an I-2 zone.
Motion by Jerry to allow the variance,
Second.
second by Dennis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank-
Based on the information, thank you. We're excited to have that. Based on the information presented to this Board of Zoning Appeals, we have determined that all the following three criteria to be true. Number one, the development standard variance requested will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Number two, that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. And number three, strict application of the terms of the Jasper zoning and subdivision ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property for which the variance is sought. Thus, the Board of Zoning Appeals grants the variance as requested. Okay. Fifth item on the docket. Stephanie Wagner is owner and petitioner located at 1402 Green Street, Jasper, Indiana, requesting one variance, a special exception from 16.04.07.b, aka Chapter 4 districts, medium density residential R3, special exception uses of the city's Unified Development Ordinance to allow a home occupation in an R3 zone. With that, please state your name and address.
I'm Stephanie Wagner, and I'm at 1402 Green Street. I just have an in-home studio that I need to see if I can do. I do have a private driveway, it's off the road. There's no foot traffic, no signage, it's just gonna be appointment only.
This is a photo studio. is it?
Yes, yeah.
Got it.
So I have off the road parking over there in its own little driveway.
And the little rock.
Yeah, yeah,
Studio will be in-house.
yes, it's all indoors,
Yeah.
and it's no foot traffic, no signage. Yeah,
What kind of hours would you be?
it's just day, like anytime from like 9 to 2.
2 p.m.
Yeah, yeah.
We're talking about one person at a time. I mean.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
no, okay. I thought, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
We're out there on that.
She had to send her. He needed those little things I had.
All right, with that being said, I will open this up to the public for any comments. Larry, nothing? All right, no one from the public. All right, with that being said, I will take a motion to close that public comment portion.
I'll make that motion. Close the
Motion,
concert.
motion by Dennis to close,
I'll second.
second by Julie. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. With that, I don't have any questions or concerns at this point in time. I know we've granted these in the past for a photography studio. One person.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
You do, that residence.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to grant the special exception from 16.04.07B, aka Chapter 4 districts, density residential R3, special exceptions uses of the city's Unified Development Ordinance to allow a home occupation in an R3 zone as presented located at 1402 Green Street, Jasper, Indiana.
Motion by Dennis to allow the special exception,
Second.
second by Andy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Great, motion carries.
Thank you.
Correct. Based on the information presented to this Board of Zoning Appeals, we have determined that all the following three criteria to be true. Number one, the development standard variance requested will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Number two, that the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner. And number three, the strict application of the terms of the Jasper zoning and subdivision ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property for which the variance is sought. Thus, the Board of Zoning Appeals grants the variance requested. With that, we are on the sixth and final item for tonight on the docket as far as looking at variances. So number 6, Carpenter Rentals LLC as owner and petitioner located at 107 East 14th Street, Jasper, Indiana. Requesting 2 variances. Number 1, variance from 16.07.05.A.1, aka Chapter 7, Development Standards, Parking Standards, General Parking Standards, minimum required parking, and the City of Jasper's UDO to allow less than the minimum number of required parking spaces. And the second is number 2, special exception from 16.04.10.B.1, aka Chapter 4 Districts, Neighborhood Business B1, special exception uses of the city's UDO to allow multifamily housing in a B1 zone. With that being said, it looks like Ms. Carr, you're going to represent them, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, please state your name and you may proceed.
Hello again, my name is Jocelyn, and right now we are requesting a variance for this specific building where it has already 2 residential units up top. They are being occupied as well, and we are wanting to go ahead and make the bottom units into also residential units to align with the current housing needs. We also have advertised the lower units for commercial needs, but it hasn't, it's been really hard to be able to promote them as commercial use space. So since we already tried and we have had no luck with that as well, then we're wanting just to go ahead and keep it more of a quadplex. Since the 2 upper units have tenants already as well, it wouldn't increase or change much on the bottom units. And then the other thing, there is on-street parking. We went by various times during the day. We don't see an issue with being a 2 bed, 1 bath. They're not bigger, they're not the bigger units. I think parking shouldn't be an issue or concerns at all.
So today, on the top floor, there are apartments.
Yes, there's 2 bedroom, 1 bath units as well.
And those are on street parking.
On street parking, yes.
So all 4 units will be 2 bed, 1 bath.
Yes, 2 bed, 1 bath.
Wait, do you have any parking spot right now? Parking places that are not on street parking or no? It's
No,
only just
just on street parking. I think those houses there, most of them are on street parking. Or for that complex, it would be on street parking. There is a unit to the left, it has its own parking space as well. So that wouldn't interfere with the on-street parking, adding additional units on the bottom.
So the requirement for 4.26.
Yeah.
If you see to the left, there's parking there as well, for that house,
For the house, not your property.
not the property,
That's-
yes.
So Amy, to specifically answer your question, if it was new, yes. Obviously the house at one point, and it was built in 1946, I just looked, obviously it was a quadplex at some point. In which the lower area was converted to commercial spaces, and in fact, for the last 20 plus, 30 plus years, has a history of having commercial spaces on the ground floor. The top 2 have always, to my knowledge, been rentals and bedrooms. So they're having 2 things, because they're converting the downstairs, our current ordinance. Because they're converting the downstairs from commercial and essentially adding 2 residential things. That's what triggered the multifamily request. And because they're increasing the intensity of the use, what we believe the concern or the figure they would have to be for the 2 units downstairs, so they would be deficient for the parking spaces. Now, all that being said, again, it has a history of being commercial and so parking was coming and going pretty much the whole time, so.
That's
if
a
it-
pretty
if-
big area, in that whole side of that street.
Well, that's for you to decide.
Right,
I just want to make
exactly.
sure that, yeah, if this was a new unit, you're correct. We would have 4 new units, 1.5 each, it'd be 6 parking spaces. Or even if it was in the current configuration, you know, we would determine if it was office or whatever downstairs, it would be additional parking requirements that we would have. But this is an existing inventory of our housing, so that at one point used to be a quadplex. At some point converted to a multi or mixed use. And now essentially they're considered.
Right.
Yeah, in the past it was a fourplex.
Where do we go?
No,
Up here?
no, not here. Well, here we go.
Jackson?
Yeah, you'll notice this is April 2025 is the picture dates here.
Can you turn street view background so we can see the building?
Yep.
Just right where you're at.
They were really converting it back to original stage, that it was a fourplex back then.
Any questions? This one? Questions this one? Or open? Okay, I'd like to open this up to the public for any comments. If so, please come forward and state your name and address. Get on to the.
I'm Jim Dalton. I live at 1402 Main Street. And my house is on the side of 14th Street. The house, the garage, there's mine.
That tan one right there?
Yeah, where the garage is, that one.
Okay.
Now, I lived there 40 years. And I put up with the laundromat. I put up with people parking their cars there because they don't have room on Main Street. And now you want to make more or less parking with the apartments. I do not feel like I have to walk a block or 2 blocks to park my vehicle on the road in my house. You took out 2 parking places in front on Main Street. Now you want to come back and put 4 apartments in this building. That somehow or other, they should never had the 2 upstairs put in it. And they had the business down below. The lady did good, but she just did have no parking. That was her big complaint. And the pictures you got of the road being open. Can you print them up there?
Yeah, sure. You'll just have to show it.
These we just took, and this is just one day, I think I would say. If you look at the White House down here, that parking from their parking lot down to the street. We've had so many cars, right now, there's probably 6 parked along there all the time. They got 3 apartments in that building, and they park through there. The one on the side over here, the red, they're constantly parking in front of his house. And then they go up to us. Up or that white car, or is that a truck or whatever, she's a resident. She parks there, there's a black one behind her. And I normally park on the right side there. And how many cars do you think you can get in that street like that?
Right.
I mean, there's already how many cars in there and now you wanna throw. How many's gonna be in an apartment? You figure two, right?
Figure space and a half based on the UDO, right? So
Uh,
based on the UDO, we'd be adding 3 total cars. Based on what we have to follow by the guidelines,
well, there's no off-street parking, so they're definitely gonna park on the road.
right?
Yeah, I will echo his concern. I live in the neighborhood and.
And the
I
other
get
thing,
backed up on Main Street quite a bit. And the pictures show it open, but it's very much not that.
and the other thing, you wanna. If you park a bunch of cars in there, you can't. Get through. And when they come off the Main Street, they come down 14th. They have no place to go. The same way going up. If you come off of Jackson, you go up. The cars are constantly zigzagging now. And we get a lot of traffic going to Circle A. You wouldn't believe how many cars go up and turn around and come back. And now you want to throw Vine Street back there, all them people? Where's all that traffic gonna go? You're just bottlenecking 14th Street.
Right. Yeah, we definitely know that it would be a traffic concern, there's no doubt about that.
I mean, it's not just this part, it goes all the way back to Vine Street. You got crossing the, used to be the Fiesta. You can't get through there. You go down 14th Street is just all the way through is a bottleneck.
Yes, it is. So,
You got people going to Circle A from, I guess, the factories down there. And they go up 11:30. You know, go up to Circle A, get something to eat, and then they sit back down. They don't care.
okay.
Is the parking and the traffic your main concerns?
Yes, it is.
Do you have any other concerns between, besides the parking or the traffic that you've explained?
Well, no. Oh, one more question. The neighborhood would like to have a stop sign back up on Main Street. 14th and Main. Make that a 3-way stop. And if you're interested, you can do it on Jackson too.
That's not for this board, that's not our. We don't have that authority.
Well, start it.
Unfortunately, we don't have that authority. Yeah.
Somebody
I'd say
does.
that, say the individual who, might, you wanna start with, and that might be present tonight, I recommend talking to the city engineer.
Yeah, gotta be the one to start with, yes.
Yeah, we'll take that and start back to it.
Yeah.
He's listed as a.
Okay, with anything else?
That's good. We appreciate your comments.
Well, I hope I didn't get too bully.
Anyone else like to make any comments?
Good evening, board. I'm Roxanne Hoffman. I live at 901 Clay Street. I am part of this because that is my father. My main concern with it is that as a child that wants to visit her parents, I have kids myself. It's dangerous. There's too many cars already. I can't find a place to park. If I do, I'm walking them through busy streets. You've seen the streets. The other thing I'd like to bring up is that last little spit that you do to sign off on them. You're currently saying there is already many traffic accidents on the corner of 14th and Main, so this goes against your safety to all, correct? The other would be square footage of these proposed apartments would only invite clientele that will further increase the crime, so safety again. The property was purchased years before these variants were sought. The use of this property was not hampered before now. So that your strict adherence to this code should be followed as purchased. It is not the city, our residents in the neighborhood. So that's my fight.
What did you say your name was again? I'm sorry.
Roxanne Hoffman.
And we're also, there, you know, so we know there's a traffic concern there, there's no doubt about that, and, but we do know there are sidewalks and everything else there as well to walk down that, are there for that particular reason to hopefully prevent anyone from walking down the middle of the street with kids.
But with all the accidents
Right.
already,
Right, yes.
and like he said, you're gonna add up the extra traffic coming from the Vine.
Yeah, based on the studies, right, we'd be looking at 3 extra cars. There was.
At least.
Right. The 3, used to be 4, now they've cut it down to 3 as far as what we have to follow as far as the UDO.
Has anybody decided how many cars can actually fit on that street right now as is?
I'm certain there has been, but that's not mine.
Cause I'm just curious. If anybody's thought of that.
So
Yeah,
just to clarify, because I always like to take notes about
Yeah.
everything that people have to go through the head.
that's right.
So the main concerns are, you think it's dangerous because of the tightness of the traffic?
Alright.
You think it's dangerous because of the no parking and because of the amount of traffic that area? Was there anything else that you have as a concern?
Accidents.
There's a lot of accidents at 14th and Main. They're becoming more dangerous because again, you can't see. And you're having people coming from multiple directions at the same time. It's just a bad intersection.
Right.
And you're adding more cars
Yeah.
and more people.
Thank you, and I appreciate your concerns.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? You state your name and address, please, at the podium.
Good evening, Dave Jurt, owning the property at 1404 Main Street. I had that rental property for 35 years, and through the years that I've been there, become good friends with the Daltons that live on the corner there, and I've seen a lot of traffic in and out through the years as I've been there remodeling and working on the place. The question is, how long have they owned this building? Do we know?
I don't know.
Justin,
Can we ask, find out?
How long have you guys owned this building?
I'm not sure.
Less than 10 years, less than 5 years?
You asking me or her? June of 24.
Less than 5.
Less than 5, okay.
Wait a minute, how many years did you say?
Less than 5?
Less than 5.
Yeah.
Sir, you have to come up here.
Please quit yelling from the audience.
It's his turn right now, sir.
The property regarding June 24.
Okay, well, regardless, anytime I look for rental property, couple of questions. First question you ask, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how much parking? And if you don't hit those 3 important things, it kind of disqualifies the property. That street is very narrow. A lot of times I access the alley to the east of Main Street. I got a big truck. It's hard for me to get through there. That is definitely one vehicle at a time casting. It's tied in there. It's an older street. The red brick building that we're talking about here, it doesn't have any parking other than streetwise. If you're talking 6 potential parking spaces needed, that automatically is gonna put 2 in front of the building and 4 in other people's property, which I know it's public parking, but for the Daltons that live on the corner there, if he loses his parking for his house, then he's gotta go to another area, which I don't think is fair to them, or anybody. I know it's public parking, but it's just not right that somebody that's been there so long would have to park other than where they're used to. And like you said, the building there on Main Street, you guys, however it worked out, took away a couple parking spots there with the fire hydrant and all that. I get that. Here again, we got another fire hydrant, can't park on that turn. Coming around that turn's tight. It's just, you only really have 2 really potential off-street parking spots in front of the red brick building, and other than that, you're gonna be parking on other people's quote-unquote property, although it's public street. I get that. I just think they might have made a bad decision on the building they bought. They just. They didn't check the boxes or check into it well enough, and now they're asking, forgiveness. The POS on the Vine Street thing earlier, they're finding out parking and setbacks and all that. That's what you do when you want to be a landlord and be good to the neighborhood. So, I don't personally live there, but I do go down that street quite a bit. Take it for what it's worth, make good decisions. I'll let it up to you guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Anyone else? Definitely hear lots of questions and concerns, obviously with the traffic issue. I don't think it's anything to do with like a multi-family unit, more than it's just the traffic and concerns with parking, obviously.
Well, I'm gonna reiterate what Andy wrote. I frequent this stretch of road. I think the situation has improved since there's no restaurant a couple blocks to the east. That was a tough spot too. 90% of the time, I either pull over and let somebody through, or somebody does that for me, because two cars can't pass with vehicles parked in it. So that's a rough stretch of the street right there.
The only thing I'll note is its current use is general office, and that is determined by, or parking for general office is determined by square footage. Again, its current use is general office, so we're not talking about the requirement for parking now, because that existed prior to the UDO rule. But we say, according to our UDO, that for every 350 square feet of space, parking is required for general office. So the bottom level is approximately 2,250 or 60 feet, according to the assessor's site. So that works out to just under 6.5 parking spaces if it was to retain and remain an office supply, actually the general office. So this, at least according to our UDO, I'm not arguing that it is one way or the other. Our UDO standard for housing is far less than 6.5 units for 2 office spaces. So,
So essentially, no matter what, this is just a step between a rock and a hard place, because current is 6.5 parking spots for what's currently at. If we rezone it, we're zoning it down to just 1.5 spots per apartment. But it's still an increase in what it currently is. But the only reason that it's not an increase now is because it's vacant. So if they're successful and they find someone to rent it out, that's still gonna add traffic to the area. And if we do rezone it now, that's gonna add less traffic to the area than if somebody would go to business in that area.
well,
I don't think it would be any
to
different.
clarify just terminology, we're not here to rezone it. But it is an island zone of its own. It is a B1 business zone. That building by itself, surrounded by R2 or 3, I apologize. But it is zone B1, and any use as B1, should they not be allowed a residential in there, any B1 permitted use would be allowed to go in.
Or anyone else in the public who'd like to speak first?
Are there any letters? No letters?
With that, I'll take a motion to close the public comment portion.
I'll motion.
Motion by Andy to close,
I'll second.
second by Jerry. All those in favor? Aye. All right, so if you have some more comments?
Either way, if you do commercial, I mean, you're still gonna have to have parking. I know 14th Street is a busy street. This has always been, I mean, accidents do happen because people are speeding through it. I've driven that road many times as well. I mean, it is a hassle, especially when you're having, to work, but at the end of the day, you're still creating, where if it's commercial, you're still gonna have to have space available for clients coming in, and I think that's gonna be worse, especially with commercial use and having clients coming and leaving. And if we're, concerned about incidents, I think that's creating more incidents because people are coming and going all day compared to a tenant that maybe it's probably at work all day, just coming home and parking their car or their vehicle during the night.
Anything?
Good.
I don't like this. I propose we table it just because this seems like a pretty big decision as far as. Right now, I don't feel comfortable. With as much people as have been saying that with what we know up here is how tight it is. If we go ahead and pass grant the motion now, this just puts an even faster time clock and creating a bigger problem. Right now, we've sped up the problem. If they do get somebody in there next month, well then there goes that. I mean, the problem's gonna get worse immediately. But I don't feel comfortable making a decision on this at this time. Because I don't know, I feel like I don't know enough facts as far as what the actual traffic looks like, because I don't live right there.
Another option, and just thinking outside the box, would it be like instead of doing a quadplex, can we use the lower level and just doing like a open unit and just instead of doing a quad, just getting rid of one and doing a 3? And that would, reduce maybe 1.5 parking space.
That's why I'm supposed to table it, because that's a big decision for you to make on the plan too. That's your.
I mean, right now it's not being utilized. They have advertised as well for commercial use. So you have, I think you said 2,200 square feet that is not being utilized for anything. And we would like to take advantage of that, obviously, having the space available.
Yeah, I just struggle setting the precedent there for allow residential unit or a new unit with 0 parking. So are other oddball buildings downtown that are in this situation?
We're gonna cross that bridge eventually, is that correct? I mean, with our infill, we're gonna end up crossing that most likely.
And I'm just trying to make sure you understand, like when you say downtown, Andy, the B2 district has 0 parking minimum.
Correct.
Okay.
Throughout R3, there's plenty of oddball properties that are kind of in this situation.
I agree with that with time and let them take a look at it again. Do some research.
I guess my only question about that is there any specific information that you're seeking for them to bring back to next month's meeting?
I'd like to see a traffic study or parking study. Where are we at? Parking. What is it certain times of days? Is there a problem? Isn't there a problem?
Also, if they're willing to only do an additional 1 unit instead of 2 units to make it a quadplex, that would reduce the total number of parking. I would like to see that be the ultimate outcome, but I don't feel comfortable making her make that decision right now on the spot either. So I think it's probably best for all of us up here and for Jocelyn as well, if we table this so that everybody has more of an idea of it. Cause I also don't like the fact like that they mentioned that if they've only owned the property for 1 year, it does seem like oops, I bought this property and I didn't actually know what I was gonna do with it. And I don't wanna set that precedent.
That being said, I will entertain motions like that.
Is it as simple as making a motion to table to next meeting?
Yeah.
I make a motion to table this variant, or these variances associated with property 107 East 14th Street in Jasper, Indiana. Table it until next.
I'm going to go with Renee in the sense of what are we looking for? Meaning if we're gonna table it, don't we have to,
Which direction do you guys want to go? I
well,
mean,
that's my concern is what are we tabling? Or it's either yay or nay, or if we're tabling, what research are we looking for? And can we get the traffic studies on this? That's not a 1-day deal.
And that might be also cost prohibitive.
Yeah, that's what I was.
A formal traffic study.
Yeah, my recommendation to you is, sounds like you all require more information. I would recommend that Carpenter Rentals and Jocelyn and then come back with any additional information that they want to provide to you. I would ask that they provide it to us ideally before the meeting itself, so you have a moment to digest that information. I would suggest each and every one of you to go down to this area and see what you observe at different times of the day, at different days. And that would be probably the best indicator you could get about what the current state actually is.
And if there is more information specifically that you think of that you'd like to know, you can send questions to Josh or me, and we can get that information as well.
So let's go back to this one unit on the bottom.
Yeah, we wouldn't be opposed to that, just going ahead and just opening it up to one unit and reducing the space to 1.5 instead of 3.
But again, there are a number of bedrooms and that too, as well as if you're gonna think of the parking, correct?
Sure, but let's just be clear, there are no half cars, so.
Right.
1.5 units.
Right.
1.5 units.
Still two cars, right?
So you're
Looking at one car.
arguing about one space.
I agree.
So.
I'll make the argument for one space.
Okay, so reducing it to 1 space, is that what you're saying?
No, one guy said you get it if we pay, so.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
That's the board.
I just need to know which direction or what you guys are needing for the next meeting.
Versus split.
With that being said, entertain a motion.
Did somebody already make the motion?
So I made the motion with a caveat that, I guess I don't even need to make a caveat deal. We already just said if they would, just so you know, just any information that you do bring back anything that you think is supporting information to help make your case. So anything that you've observed, times that you've been able to take photos, more so than just 3 different days would be nice. We're not asking you to do an entire full cost study on the traffic for that area. We're more so just saying that we need the time so that some of us can feel more, feel like we have a better grasp of the situation. That's why.
Motion from Dennis to table till next meeting. Yes, motion by Dennis to table the next meeting,
I'll second that.
a second by Jerry, all those in favor? All those opposed? Okay,
Thank
with
you.
that, we have concluded our general public variance requested. Now, let's go on to Josh or Renee, anything down that direction for us tonight? Okay.
1 second.
Yes,
So for the public that's here, so what just happened is they tabled this motion about the quadplex on 14th Street. The next meeting will be Wednesday, September 3rd at 6:30. That'll be the first business, okay?
with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Julie to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second by Amy. All those in favor? Aye. You guys see something?
Sorry,